What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. Let's talk about the New Orleans Saints. Chris Olave was arrested yesterday, going 35 miles an hour over the speed limit, 70 and a 35, which if you're going to go 35 over, that's generally, I feel like, when it happens, kind of used to going 70 on the interstate and whatnot, get a little impatient, probably, a little aggressive, to be sure. But it happens. What I think is interesting about this is not some sort of moral or, what is he doing? Like, should he be smarter? Sure, whatever. But to me, it just comes at a time when there's already a ton of drama surrounding Olave and surrounding the Saints offense, and it can't help now that you're going to be dealing with even more drama on this front. And when you look at this Saints offense right now, it is pretty damning. Again, if you're a New Orleans football subscriber, you can check this out. If not, maybe do like a trial or pay for a month, see if you like it. But there's a really good breakdown of all the third downs, Jake. And it is a disaster. And I know we keep making this surface level, but I think after watching further, it is the performance against the Jaguars, maybe barring, I guess, a couple of those late drives, is a disaster akin to what you witnessed defensively against Ole Miss. The 1 of 16 on third down is just, it's not normal. It's not normal. Remember, Cat Terrell had this from ESPN Stats and Info. Derek Carr attempted 14 passes on third down. Only one of them went for a first down. He is the first QB over the last 25 seasons to attempt at least 14 passes on third down and only gain one or fewer first down. So, again, it's a quarter of a century, y'all. 25 years. I'm 34. So what you witnessed last Thursday was actually something that hasn't been done basically our entire lives, Jake.
Yeah.
So, again, this is outlier bad. And then Nick dove into the film, and it's just everything. But it mainly does center around Derek Carr. There's some route miscommunication at times, but it's mainly just Carr just not making his reads. Yeah. He's not going through the progression, and he's just checking it down as soon as he hits his back foot.
Yeah, remember when people thought, like, hey, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to tell you about all the quarterbacks that the Saints get to play. Not have to play, get to play. And they miss all these marquee quarterbacks. They get rookie quarterback after rookie quarterback, and a lot of people are, like, laughing and thinking, oh, that's going to be great. Those teams do that to you. Those teams laugh that they get to face Derek Carr. Right now, because the stats that T-Bob is rolling off there, those are egregiously bad. Those are things that happen when you have a rookie quarterback, right? When you go 1 for 16 on third down and you don't make competitive throws. Those are rookie quarterbacks.
That's rookie quarterback
energy. Well, this is a quarterback that started for a decade in the league. Like, this is a quarterback that you gave a lot of money to, so you didn't have the situation that you have this year. We're talking about, like, our lifetime bad type stats. That's not good. That is not winning football. And then, like, to go watch the tape and to see how quickly the ball's coming out of his hands to, like, check downs and routes that shouldn't be first in the progression. I don't know, T-Bob.
And guys are open.
Yes, and I don't know how that happens. How do you know as much football? Because Derek Carr knows football. Like, I believe that. But how do you not get that done? Like, if a cover 2 situation says, here's the progression, why do you go away from the progression? Are you forcing it? Are you trying to do too much? That's also the behavior of what? A rookie quarterback.
Yeah, and I think so when you have a veteran doing these things, then I do think that also the coaching staff has to bear some culpability. And it's funny because during the offseason, so much was made of bringing John Gruden in and being like, okay, where you had success with Carr, what does he like to do? What doesn't he like to do? Well, then why do they keep running fades? Because right now, Jake, Derek Carr has a 47 quarterback rating on fades. Only Kirk Cousins, Danny Dimes, and Jameis Winston are worse over that 5-year period at throwing fades. Now,
two of the quarterbacks on your roster.
Yeah, right. What's especially damning about Pete Carmichael here, though, Jake, those other quarterbacks I just mentioned haven't run a fade in 2 years.
Because they know.
Yeah, because they know. Not only does the route suck, like all of football's waking up to it, kind of sucks, unless you're in college and you just have a receiver that's like clearly just like Like, if you had A.J. Green out there, sure, I'll throw A.J. Green a fade in college. I got no problem with that. But in the NFL, it's just kind of a crappy route. And even with them scoring on one to a touchdown and Mike Thomas, they continue to try to throw it, and it's just awful. Again, these other quarterbacks that are just as bad as Carr haven't thrown one in 2 years. And you just insist on continue to run it. And to me, Jake, when you combine it with the fact that he's not reading defenses, it comes off as lazy. Because what are fades? They're easy reads. Like, you don't have to think. You already know where you're going with the ball, and if the pre-snap alignment looks good to you, you're just, okay, no brain power, just go there and throw it. And it's lazy, and it's bad, and it's indicative of what's the problem with the offense as a whole right now.
Yeah, certainly the one in the game was one that we'll remember for a long time and not for a good reason. And Reynard asks, wondering if his shoulder injury is worse than the Saints claim it to be.
Oh, that's true.
If that's the case, also, it's the reads too. It's not just the throws.
Sure.
It's the reads. It's throws that I still think he can make, even if he did have the shoulder injury that he has. And so you still got to go through your progression. And if that is the case, why are you playing him?
Yeah, sure.
You pay Jameis Winston a lot of money to be your backup quarterback, right? You drafted Jake Haener to be a 4th-round pick. It's not nothing. It's not a flyer. A 4th-round pick is still something of value that a lot of teams consider starter level, okay? And you got him back now. So if he's hurt and he can't go through his progression, he can't make the throws, that's on you, right? You kept Jameis here another year. If he can't go out there and be a healthy quarterback that can make all the throws in a route tree and he can only be a check down Charlie, then that's on you for putting him out there and putting him in that situation.
Agreed. Again, though, to your point, it is, I'm sure that's not helping anything, but it doesn't excuse the fact that he's not going through his progressions, because that is mental, not physical. But I'm with you. If he can't go play Jameis. Also, I need a little less. I don't want, and now I guess you could accuse me of nitpicking, but when things are this bad, that's tend to what we do. I need a little less Carr getting mad and a little more Carr getting good. You are at the center of the vortex of bad here. Getting mad at everyone else is doing you no favors. Now, don't get me wrong. The offensive line is probably a lot of the original evil here, speeding up his clock and making him so scared and hitting his back foot, but you get paid a lot of money to not be scared and to overcome that and still go through those progressions. And don't get me wrong, I don't think Pete Carmichael and his offense is doing a great job of using modern concepts and putting him in good positions. But again, I don't think that calling out your receivers or your OC or looking kind of petulant is helping at all in this situation, especially when there appears to be some cracks and some drama starting to coalesce around this team. So offensively, it's a disaster right now. Can they get it fixed? What is it, week 8? Right? We're going into week 8. That doesn't make me feel good. It's a lot of sample size in which you've just gotten worse over time. But it's the NFL. And sometimes I guess you catch fire. We will see what ends up happening with this New Orleans Saints team. But here on October 24th, it does not feel very good.
Yeah, and you got a stretch where you got at Colts, Bears, at Vikings. Now, I don't think the Colts and Vikings are bad teams. Their records, certainly for the Vikings, they get a win against San Fran last night. I think they're better than their record, but you got to take advantage of it, because then you got, at the Falcons, you got Detroit at home. Those aren't going to be easy games. And then you come back and you do, have a stretch where it's the Panthers and the Giants. And so you've got a couple of different waves, but you got to start to create some momentum here. You got to win these games that you're supposed to win, or on paper we would think you have an opportunity to win, because you start looking at the division and it's still there for the taking, but you got to start playing better, because you're only one game back right now, but you have a bulk of your division games. You still got to play the Falcons twice. You still got to play the Panthers. You still got to play the Bucs. You got to start winning some games, because you don't want a Falcons team to start to pull away from you.
Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.